What's up, what your boy? I'm Tara, reporting live from the MITM podcast, where we delve into the matters that shape our lives. Now, today, we're exploring an essential aspect of personal well-being, cultivating self-compassion and self-acceptance. Run the intro.
Caught up in them bright lights, lusting for shiny things that's golden. Everything ain't always what it seems, that it's soaking. Chasing my dreams, coming apart at my seams. Best believe that the money is the motive.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the MITM podcast. And today we're talking about self-compassion and self-acceptance and why they're powerful tools for nurturing our mental and emotional well-being. By embracing kindness and understanding towards ourselves, we can cultivate a deep sense of self-worth and, in turn, resilience. So let's dive into some tangible tips to help you cultivate self-compassion and self-acceptance. Tip number 1, practice mindful self-awareness. Begin by cultivating mindful self-awareness. Pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to your emotions. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. Okay, notice when self-judgment arises or when you're being overly critical of yourself. By bringing awareness to these moments, you can consciously choose to replace self-judgment with self-compassion. Now, one of the interesting things that I found by doing this practice is I realized so many of my thoughts and inner dialogues aren't even mine. They don't even belong to me. And I mentioned this on a podcast before. Whose voice is the voice in your head? When you go to do something, whose voice is telling you that you can do it or that you can't do it? I know for me, being homeschooled and the way that my mama raised me, she always encouraged me to do absolutely anything that I ever wanted. So anytime, or at least the way that she encouraged me was figure it out. So anytime that I go to do something, there's a voice in my head saying, hey, go do it, go figure it out. You can do it. You have the internet. All the answers are there. And I do. And I figure out anything that I want. And the voice that's critical in my head is my grandmother. And she would always say, you can't do this, or you need all of these things before you can do such and such. In fact, when I went on a silent meditation retreat, I remember the day that I got there, I had an argument with someone earlier that day. And the argument is playing in my mind. And I'm trying to be silent. But then I spoke. And I found myself speaking the other person's part of the argument in their same angry tone. And that was the moment that I realized, I am crazy. And I need to work on this. I need to bring even more mindfulness. I'm glad that I'm on this retreat. Okay? So when you bring more awareness to these things and you're able to identify them, then you can now make a switch. You can now replace them, okay? Tip number 2 is to treat yourself with kindness. Treat yourself with the same kindness and compassion that you would extend to a loved one, okay? Offer yourself words of encouragement and understanding. Be gentle with your mistakes and failures. Recognize that there are opportunities for growth and learning, okay? Practice self-kindness, or practicing self-kindness, is a powerful way to cultivate self-acceptance. Okay, I know Jordan Peterson says, take care of yourself as if you're taking care of somebody else, right? When somebody else is sick, what do you do for them? Hey, you make them some tea, you make them some soup, you get them some vitamin C, some zinc, some vitamin D, you make sure that they're warm. Maybe give them some fuzzy slippers if you have them. I don't know. But remember to do those things for yourself as well. When your friend is sad about something, how do you console them? How do you be there and show up for them? Well, when's the last time you did that for yourself? And I invite you to actively treat yourself with kindness because you deserve that, right? And that actually leads into our third tip, which is to embrace imperfections. Embrace the fact that perfection is an illusion. We all have flaws, we all make mistakes, and we all face challenges. Okay? Instead of striving for an impossible standard, embrace your imperfections as a part of what makes you uniquely human. Accept that making mistakes is a natural part of growth and view them as opportunities for self-improvement, okay? This is why, as a part of the MITM club, we say that we're perpetual 9s aiming to be 10s but never actually getting there. We always know there's things that we can improve on, but we understand that there's flaws we can never get rid of. And we must embrace those things as a part of who we are as human beings. Okay. And by embracing those, that actually leads into tip number 4, practicing self-compassion and self-talk. All right. Pay attention to your internal dialogue. Replace self-critical thoughts with self-compassionate ones. When you face setbacks or challenges, remind yourself that it's okay to make mistakes and that you're doing your very best. Use gentle and supportive languages whenever you're talking to yourself, okay? This will help foster an environment for self-acceptance and understanding. Like, one of the ways that I look at this more specifically is, am I being the superhero to 3-year-old me? He's still in here somewhere. And I need to nurture him, nurture that inner child, and take care of him to make sure that I can show up as best I can in this society for other people, not just myself. Okay? But the more that I'm able to show up for myself, the more compassion I can have for myself, the more I can forgive myself, as hard as I am on myself, the more I can be compassionate with myself, the easier it will be in the long run for me to be compassionate with others. Okay. Tip number 5, and that's actually really interesting that this flows straight into tip number 5. I think today's flowing in like the best, is to seek support and connection. Now, surround yourself with supportive and compassionate individuals who uplift and inspire you. Okay, seek out friends, family members, or communities that foster a culture of acceptance and understanding. Engage in open and honest conversations. You can share your struggles with folks, and that'll allow others to provide you with the support that you may need. Okay, connection and support from others can be a powerful catalyst for self-compassion. Now we're going to go over to tip number 6, which is celebrating your strengths and achievements. Okay, we see our flaws and we embrace our flaws, but we also look at our strengths and achievements. We don't do that often enough. I know that I don't do that often enough. Now, take time to celebrate your strengths and achievements, no matter how small they may seem. Acknowledge and appreciate your efforts and the progress you've made. Okay, by cultivating self-compassion, you'll recognize your own worth. You'll start to value your unique abilities and accomplishments. Like, I made one of those poached eggs the first time the other day. I remember last time I tried to make them, they look like shit. But this time I had an interesting motivation to do that. And it's such a small win, but it's something worth celebrating. Instead of just saying, it's just nothing. It's like, no, actually take a moment, observe, breathe, let that small win permeate through your body. Experience it to the fullest. And do this often, okay? One of the things we actually do within our company, within the MITM club, is that every 3 months we do a review. And instead of a review where you're like, hey, what could you have done better? It's like, what did you do amazingly well? What are the wins? We always start with that. What are the wins for the last 3 months? What are the things that you did the absolute best that you could have? What are the things you're proud of for the last 3 months? What are the things you're grateful for the last 3 months? And what achievements have you reached? What strengths have you found or have you developed in the last 3 months? And every quarter we do this. This is how we're able to stay sharp. This is how we're able to show up more and really, really understand our self-worth. So that pretty much wraps up today's episode of the MITM podcast, okay? Remember, cultivating self-compassion and self-acceptance is a transformative journey that allows you to embrace your true self. Okay. We practice mindful self-awareness. We treat ourselves with kindness, embrace imperfections, practice self-compassionate self-talk, seek support and connection, and celebrate your strengths and achievements. So that's it for today's episode. Join me next time as we continue to explore matters that shape our lives. Until then, be kind, be accepting, and embrace your own unique brilliance. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
Give 'em that creme de la creme whenever I spit that hot shit.